All right, so we're inside the Vision OS, and I want to show you that I found a way to 3D model right inside of here. In the compatible apps, I downloaded Nomad Sculpt, and we got this interface. Now you can, pull it, of course, but check this out. I can actually start sculpting just with very simple pinch gestures, and I can look at the background and rotate the canvas. This is a very interesting input because this is real 3D modeling. I can change the radius of my brush over there, so it's a little bit a larger area. Let's say I want to switch my brush panels to, let me go to widescreen. Let's say I want to go into move. We can just move existing polygons. Maybe I want to see the wireframe so I can study the object better and kind of pinch it. Now, not only can you do it from a distance, which I'm doing right now, I can also pull this closer to me. So it's like a size of like a large monitor, and I can actually use my fingers and treat the whole window kind of like a tablet. And I just think that's so freaking cool. Like, look at that. I'm moving around there. The fact that you can 3D model on here, to me, is a big freaking deal because that, I mean, I can lay down. I have a lot of chronic nerve pain in my arm, and oftentimes I want to keep creating stuff, but I can't stand for very long, or I have to lean on things. So the fact that I can rest my left arm right now, but I can still be doing some really cool 3D modeling work is perfect for me. I'll show you some other brushes. I even have masking brushes, so I can just tap it with my finger here, or I can just look at it and you can draw on here. A mask lets you select part of the polygons, and if I tap the background, it inverts the mask, and I can grab a gizmo and just pull this forward or twist it. If I need to make an undo, I just look at the corner for undo and I just tap to undo it, just like that. So I'm just going to maybe pull this forward. Oh, undo. Pull forward. There we go. So I can kind of just move this around. Or maybe I just want to scale this inwards a little bit. Or I guess I can bring it out. That'll be fine. Yeah. Made some little eyes here. Oops. Let me undo that. I will now grab my selection mask and just draw a little lasso selection over here to deselect everything. Cool. Let's go back to clay brush and move this around. Now I can also change the material properties. So let's say I want to go to the stroke of this and I want to lower its roughness so it's a little bit more like a matte finish. Or you can make it more metallic. I'm going to make it less metallic. I want it to feel like clay. Maybe I'll add a tiny bit and let me lower the roughness a bit. There we go. So we just want a little bit of reflections. And then I look at the word force paint and I click on it, and now it's all painted in that matte finish and it feels like clay. Now, what's cool about this app is it has quite a bit of functionality. If I need to pan my view, look at that. I can zoom in and get really detailed. I can run a voxel remesh, which will turn this all into a new geometry. It adds geometry to it. I can go in and let's say I want to, let's use the inflate brush. And I could just inflate parts of this to kind of make these eyes a little bit more round. And I love I can have this very granular control and very precisely move things. I need to undo. I can also look at it with my left hand and tap, to undo. I'll be honest, sometimes when it's up close, it misses me looking at the corner. So I might just move that a little back up ahead. So now it's like large in front of me again. And I'll turn off wireframe, looking at the background and panning the view. Wow, this is a dream come true. Let's go ahead and snap to a front view. I'm going to tap home. Oh, there's a button in front of it. I can't actually grab it. Let's see. All right, let me go to my smoothing brush, and I'll just kind of smooth out those polygons. They were looking a little bumpy there. I can increase the radius or the intensity of the smoothness. This will make it smoother faster. I can look at the background. Cool, have kind of like an alien structure. Let's say we wanted to carve out more details around the mouth. So what I might do is, zoom into that. And then I usually use a brush called, I forgot the name. I think it's called Crease. And I could just draw in a crease here and kind of shape out the eyes. Or I could use it to kind of shape out the mouth. Start to imagine this character. Cool. Now I'll grab my inflate brush and just start to inflate. Oops, let me undo that. I'm going to inflate this. One thing I might do is I might make the icons larger just so that I can actually click things from farther away. I think Nomad Sculpt lets you do that. Now, just to remind you, this is kind of like replicating the existing iPad app. And I love that. Like, the iPad app is phenomenal. I've always wanted to, oh wow, they have a history and everything. I don't use history. So I usually don't look at the lower left corner. I want to center my home, so I'm going to customize the menu. This app lets you customize everything about it. So if you wanted to, you can customize the appearance of it. I can choose the traditional Nomad Sculpt appearance. Let me see over there, classical, violet, black and white, pink. You know, you can have like a little custom interface, but I want to see if I can adjust the size of buttons. Let's see, buttons. I think you should be able to. Edge offset, let's see, what's that? I don't know what that is. I don't see anything. Overall scale, mirror top and bottom, grid. Oh, I see. Oh, camera reset, great. I wanted to add that to my menu down there. There we go, sweet. So I wanted to be able to get back to this flat view. I always do that when I'm working in 3D. I always want to return back to a front view. And so you can add extra, menus and things on there. All right, let's punch in here. Wonderful, we got this character. I'm gonna take a look at the wireframe. All right, we're getting a lot of overlapping here, but I think it's a good time to click voxel remesh. So it kind of solidifies it. I'm gonna go back into the, which one is it? I'm gonna go back into, what was it called? I'm reading all the names here. Let me expand these. Or actually, it's good, and it's better and wide for me right now. Crease. Let's go to crease, and I just start, drawing in the creases of this. It looks like a beak now. What's so interesting is you have to really focus on where your eyes are looking, at least for the initial state. And then after your eyes are focused there, now it's just taking my hand movements and using that to, decide where it should go. Let me go back to the inflate brush, enlarge the radius, and then I'm going to lower the strength. I want to just kind of inflate some of these mouth shapes out here. Let's go ahead and return to the front. Let's grab a move brush, and I'm just going to adjust and taper the neck a little bit. Got to look right at the edge. There we go. And there's like no lag or anything. I love that. So far. Okay, let's say we wanted to add horns, but we wanted to do it as a separate layer. There's a tool called the tube tool, and I've never used it in this before, but I want to give it a shot. So I usually set it up to the path view. Oh, amazing. So I can set a point, release, set another point, release, set another point, release. And then you see that green dot? If I press it, it turns into geometry, and I can drag those little anchor points to make it thicker or thinner. And then I can rotate my view. And if I grab that point, oh, sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. If I want to get rid of a point, you just slide it to the nearest red one. I'm just gonna grab that. Wow, it's really hard to look at there. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. And then let's say I'm just gonna take the whole gizmo. It'll be easier to rotate this thing. Let's go back. Let me pan my view down. Let's rotate that up and give it a little twist. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to move it down and into the model. Great. Oh, scaled it down. I don't want to do that. Let's undo that. Look in the background. All right, I'm going to slide this over here and kind of lock the axis plane. Okay, let's pan this down. All right, so you're probably noticing that, it's kind of cool, but you want to see the horn on the other side. So what we do is we have to click the gizmo at the top and then click on the word mirror. And now we see it on both sides. Now the next thing I notice is I want this to maybe taper at the end. I don't want it to be this really chunky cylinder. And so I can click on radius, and now there's a second control for that, and I can just pull that sharper. And now I have, oops, I didn't mean to move it, but let me just, actually kind of like where that went. Let me see what it looked like beforehand though. I guess I can just place it that way. Let me hit undo. And then let's look over here. It's panned down. Let's zoom on in. Oops. I'm going to undo. Let's go ahead and move that point. I can move it over here. It's more bowl-like now. I don't like that. Let's undo. Let me make the base a little bit thicker. And also grab the gizmo and move this into the model. Okay, so what's cool is this is on a new layer. So my sphere is that object, and then this mirror thing is that tube. So if I want to go back to the sphere, I just look at the layer for the sphere. Or I guess I could just, oh my God, I don't even have to use the layers. I could just look at the object and click, and it's selecting it. So I'm looking on that object. I'm gonna go back to my clay brush and yeah, just start to do some, oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, go right here and start making a little form. you know, like a little mound around the thing. Let's go and move this over here. I'm going to turn off my wireframe. You can also rotate your light source. So I can grab the light and go to rotation and just slide. Oh, sorry, it's the dimness. I don't want to dim it. Let me undo that. There we go. And then let's go to the rotation is what there you go. So you can rotate lights around the 3D object. And you can turn off that grid if you don't want it. I kind of like the grid though for just like my perspective, but I mean, this is so great. Let's continue at it. I think you can paint it. Let's say we wanted to paint this like manually. So let's say I wanted to paint the eyes white or something. I select the white brush and I look at the eye and I just start painting it white. And then let's say I wanted to paint little nostril holes. I'm going to look for a different color to do that, maybe like a dark orange. I'm going to make my brush, I got to make the brush size smaller, so I'm going to reduce that radius, or I could just, you know, bring it in closer. What am I doing? We could just make it closer. And then, oh, sorry, the brush is doing geometry. Actually, like that. I might use this for something. And then if we click on subtractive, it will now subtract geometry. So added, it's cool. You can kind of switch between the different modes that you want. Let's go to clay here and just kind of, right now the clay is applying color as well. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to switch the brush and tell it to turn off stroke painting. So now it should just be the geometry without the color. Great. All right, so we got, you know, just kind of draw those shapes there. Let's return to my home. Let's turn off wireframe. Oops, I accidentally voxelized, which kind of fuses it all together. I don't want to do that yet. I want to keep it as separate pieces. It is really hard to look at that bottom left corner, and that's currently the only way I can undo, which is good to know. I'll need to be careful about that. I want to keep making the shapes a little bit sharper. So let's go to the, what do I want? I keep losing it. I'm looking for, what is it? Pinch, nudge, inflate, none, it's none of these. Oh, crease, thank you. So let's go to the crease and just kind of start carving that in. What I'm gonna do right now is zoom in because I need to have a lot more precision with this part so that the mouth doesn't look too creepy. And that's so cool. Even it's so nice that I could just rest my elbow on the couch and be able to create new geometry. And then I can click voxel merge when I want to up the res. You also can turn on dynamic topology. What this does is it adds more polygons if your brush is small. And then if your brush is really big, I'm going to reset the camera. If your brush is really big, it makes the polygons really large. It's very similar to dynamic retopology brush in ZBrush. So yeah, what am I doing? Oh yeah. So I use this tool when I want to sculpt details into the model because it realizes that if you're zooming in, you might want to add that resolution there, but not all the time. So it's just like a nice gradient tool. So that way you see how it's adding all those extra polygons. It's allowing us to sculpt a much more precise shape. And if we turn off the wireframe, you know, you can kind of see, let me return to home. You kind of see what that looks like. Oops, let me undo. I meant to look back there. Okay, let's, I want to give it more of like a neck. Right now it doesn't have much of a neck. So I'm going to grab the drag brush, look at the bottom of the thing here and just kind of drag that out. And if I turn back on wireframe, I can see that since the brush is influenced by the forms, you know, it makes the polygons really large. But if I zoom in, that same brush actually makes a lot more polygons because it's, you know, it notices that we want to do more detail. One thing that's hard for my brain to get used to right now is you have to look exactly at what you want to interact with. And I know that sounds maybe a little or I guess maybe that sounds obvious or intuitive, but it's not, because when you're used to modeling on a computer, at least what I've gotten used to is I can do stuff with my mouse without looking at it, and so my hand could be doing some other function. But that's not the case here. I actually need to very much look at and focus on one thing at a time. But yet, I mean, this interface is insane. I'm going to go ahead and look at the very tip there and kind of pull that out. Great. All right, this is great. So what I want to do now is, instead of having the eyes being fused to this, let's say I wanted to animate eye movement later on, I need to actually carve it out. So I'm going to grab the clay brush, go to subtractive, and just start to carve this in. Okay, so just kind of creating a little space there. Now what I'm gonna do is go to a new layer, hit the add button. I'm gonna add a sphere to the scene. We're gonna add the edit and the gizmo. So I can place this sphere exactly where I think an eyeball should go. So I might move that. I might move that a little forward, and then I need to scale it down by looking at the orange line and dragging. Oops, and dragging that down. There we go. It's about the size of an eye. Nice. Let's move this up. Great. Now I click on gizmo. I click on mirror. Oops. I click on gizmo. Click on mirror, and now I have two eyeballs. So this is great because it's a separate piece of geometry. We have a piece right there for the eyes. We have, actually we should probably rename these. So how do I do that? Okay, so how do I rename? I have it selected. Oh, three dots. Oh, rename. Oh. Head. Character head. Oh, great. It's easy. I can just speak to it. Okay. Let me look at the next one. Okay, those are eyes. I'm going to look at the name and then click on name. Eyes. 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 Okay, I'm not going to name it. Forget it. Cancel. I didn't need it. This is just for my experimentation anyway. So I'm going to select that geometry, go back to clay brush. I'm going to look at wireframe, turn on dynamic topology, and let's get in there with a slightly lower radius and just start carving in some like, oh, sorry, I don't want to carve in, I want to carve out. So let me undo, look for subtractive and go to additive, and I want to carve in some details. Let's turn up the speed of the application of the new geometry. Create some nice little eye flaps or eye folds, upper eyelid, and then let's try a lower eyelid here. Beautiful. Oh, this is so freaking cool. Kind of reminds me of, it's like a little Charizard like. Let's get in even closer. Oops, undo. Let's get in even closer. And let's grab the crease brush, and I'm just gonna add a crease right here. Wow, the level of precision. I'll be honest, I was not expecting to be able to have this kind of precision on the Vision Pro without controllers. I didn't think this was remotely possible, but I think having a different kind of position for the work is what makes this. I think that's what makes it different. Let me return back to home. Let me turn off wireframe. Oops, let me undo. All right, okay, that's cute-ish. Let's work on the front of the face. Like it's kind of, I need to have like the mouth kind of go through. Also, I need to rotate the light. So let's go to lights and look at it, rotation. Let's go ahead and rotate the light. There we go. I just want to be able to see the mouth a little bit better. Let's move this over here and kind of slide in. I'm going to get even closer. Go to the crease brush and look right at the mouth and just kind of create some lines to make it have like a full mouth shape. Great. And it kind of has a little derpy look. I'm going to go to smooth and smooth out the geometry with my hands. Great. Great. And then I'm going to go back to the clay brush and then choose, not relax, I'll choose clay brush, subtractive, and I just want to subtract a little bit here. Actually, I need to get, oops, undo. Let's get in closer. What I want, undo. What I want to do is subtract underneath the nose so that it looks like a little nostril. And then around it, I wanted to add geometry so that it has like a little bit of that. Then I click on the smooth so that I can smooth out all of these things so it makes it more of a gradual. If I zoom out by resetting and zooming in here, yeah, that feels a little bit better. There we go. Great. Reset my view. Wonder if you can save camera angles, because there's certain spots I would love to just model in, but I don't feel like I need to go through all of it. All right, I also want to flatten the bottom in case I wanted to 3D print this and bring this into the physical world. So what I usually do is I click on reset camera, then I choose a type of tool called trim, and I grab the line tool, and I think you can just draw a line. Oh wow, but it's not snapping. I always snap it to 15-degree increments, so let me undo that. Let me change the snap to, I usually prefer 15 degrees when I use a tool like this. And what that does, let me grab my line tool again. What that does is, you see how as I'm moving, it locks into these positions. It's going in 15-degree increments, which is a great number for evenly dividing amongst 360-degree circle. So I set that there, and then when I release, it will trim. Once I click the green, it will trim all that geometry on the ground. Okay, in this case, it looks like it did not work, so I'm gonna undo again. I need to click away. Oh, I have Boolean on. Let me turn off Boolean. I think that was a problem. Lines on enabled, and let me try this again. Okay, I think it should have worked. There we go. So you see how that just created a perfectly flat cut? And why that's important is now, if I were to 3D print this, oh, well, it's hollow right now, but pretend I didn't forget to, I shouldn't have used trim. I should have used project. Let me undo that. Okay, let's go back. We'll go back to a front view. Instead of doing trim, I'm going to use project, which is just going to push all the geometry, and it'll be flat. And I'll grab my line tool. It's snapping to 15-degree increments. I can place my line, rotate my hand, and then release. Hit the green. It should be good. And then click on any other tool. And now, yeah, there we go. So now if I was to 3D print that, it'll be super solid. Oops, let me undo that. I like the idea of it having things like underneath its throat. Oh, mirroring got turned off. Let me turn them back on mirroring, enable that. There we go. And that's too fast. I'm gonna slow down the intensity quite a bit. And yeah, just kind of add to the character. Don't like the back of the head. I don't know what to do with it though. Let's take a look. Should I make it just like super conical? Or should I flatten it out? I don't know. Undo. Let's try the drag brush. What if we gave it like a Triceratops vibe? You know how like Triceratops has like it like fans out or something? Yeah. Something like that. We've got some Triceratops vibes. Triceratops. There we go. Yeah. Don't mess with this character. Fun times. All right, let's go back to reset home. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I clicked history. Crap. Let me undo. I don't know. I never clicked history before, so I don't know what that does. Oh, I see. This is every step. Oh my God, this is every step in my whole process from the very beginning. So I guess can I go to the very bottom? Oh, reset view. Let's see. All those are visible. I don't know why I can't see the thing. We might have broken it. I'll just keep hitting undo until we get something. Oh, we lost our horns. Well, I still like it. Maybe it doesn't need horns after all. Can I just pull on that there? There we go. Oh, the eyes are missing. Oh, I think I'm soloing. Ah, solo is on. There we go. Solo is whatever. So solo basically hides all other geometry except the one that's selected. I must have accidentally looked there and it clicked it. I didn't know that. This is so freaking cool. It gets cooler. Watch this. I'm going to change the texture of this character now, and I'm also going to do a voxel remesh. But what I need to do first is up the resolution of a voxel. A voxel is kind of like a Minecraft cube. If I had it really large like this, it'll become a very like low resolution character. But if I increase that voxel density a lot, what it will do is it will add a ton of more polygons. And I'll click remesh. I don't know if it, okay, maybe it's calculating. Maybe I put too many. I wanted to see what the limits were of this machine. I can't believe I don't have a mouse. I don't have a stylus. I don't have a tablet. I don't have a keyboard in my hand. I'm just playing in the air with, you know, and the only tactile feedback you have is your own fingers, which is actually a really good tactile feedback. I didn't realize like it's super intuitive because your fingers have these great sensors on them for pressure. Oh, I got a message. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I'll put this up on YouTube, and I'll put clips of it on Instagram as well. All right. Talk to you soon. How do I end the recording? I don't know how to end the recording. Oh, I do. Hey Siri, control center. Hey Siri, reveal control center. Hey Siri, show me control center. I don't know. Oh, there it is. I have to look way up. All right, record my session. Oh, stop.